Right now at 10, preparing for a worst-case scenario at Devil's Lake. We're getting an inside look at a training exercise today.
And the Madison man arrested for making bombs in his West Side apartment is sentenced to prison time today. How much time he will spend behind bars.
And later, the colors of the American flag. A local company is putting together something special for our local veterans. Our Do Something Good report is coming up.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Millions of people visit Devil's Lake State Park every year, but not all of them make it through their trip safely.
For those instances, there's Baraboo's rope rescue team. Amy Reed shows us how they're practicing for this summer before someone's actually in trouble.
Exploring an area as beautiful as this can be tempting, but if you get off trail, it can be dangerous. And if something happens, this is the crew you call. In case of an emergency, this team is here to help.
So tonight's training is more of a demonstration in regards to how we operate out at Devil's Lake.
This one's just a practice, rehearsal for if and when a hiker, climber, explorer gets hurt.
Because Devil's Lake is very busy, they get thousands of visitors every year, and inherently those visitors like to roam off the trails and they get into dangerous situations.
If the fall isn't bad, like a sprain or break that keeps them on the trail, firefighters and paramedics can get to them with relative ease. But this isn't for that.
We have a medic that will rappel down to the patient, start treatment, and then from there our team will set up a rope system to raise them up over the cliff edge. Stop! It can be scary, but we have lots of safety mechanisms in place to prevent anything bad from happening.
It's a skill worth practicing. Baraboo Fire Department said they respond to about 20 falls here a year. About 5 require this type of response. But it's one they want to get right for the patient's safety and theirs.
We want to practice it, stay proficient. Because we're so busy, there's a high demand to have a highly skilled team.
But what's better than this team being ready and being practiced is for people to not put them there in the first place.
If I were to tell anybody that was going to come visit Devil's Lake, just please stay on the trails. And if you need help, we're there.
The Baraboo Fire Department, EMS, and MedFlight do these drills between 10 and 12 times a year, but tonight was their first ahead of this summer. At Devil's Lake State Park, Amy Reed, News 3 Now.
Or local law enforcement officers are getting national recognition for their work on the day of the WTS Paradigm shooting last September. Over the weekend, the National Association of Police Organizations in D.C. honored Officer Rich O'Connor and Sergeant Tyler Lather from the Middleton Police Department with National Top Cop Awards. Dane County deputies David Lambrecht and Matthew Earl also received the same recognition. These 4 officers were the first on the scene of the workplace shooting, confronting the shooter. New tonight, Columbia County deputies are asking for information on the whereabouts of this man, 30-year-old Joshua Martin. They say he is a person of interest in an incident today where a deputy is believed to have been sprayed with mace during a traffic stop. Officers later found the truck involved, which had been stolen earlier in the day. Martin is listed as missing out of Dane County. He was last believed to be in West Point Township, located near Prairie to Sac.
It's an annual rite of spring. The lake flies have returned. By the thousands, they have invaded the Lake Winnebago area. The insect plays an important role in the lake's ecosystem. The eggs they lay on the water grow into red worms, which is a prime food source for fish. Lake flies don't bite and typically only live for a few days. Around the Madison area, we are going in the right direction now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti has our first alert forecast. Gary?
Temperatures are warming up. We were in the middle 60s today. Tomorrow will be close to 70 and will probably be above 70 all the way through next week. Weather track shows the clear skies that we had earlier giving way to just a few fair weather cumulus clouds that popped up this afternoon. This morning, low temperatures were rather chilly. As we started out with clear skies here in Madison, we dropped to 33 degrees. That was only 4 degrees above the record low of 29 set back in 1966. And there were some upper 20s located in areas north of Wisconsin Dells. High temperatures, though, generally were in the middle to upper 60s. A few places touched the 70-degree mark, including Mineral Point and Camp Douglas, whereas areas closer to Lake Michigan stayed in the upper 50s to around 60. Current temperatures are generally in the upper 40s to the lower 50s. And by tomorrow morning, we should be down into the lower 40s by 6 a.m., but start warming up pretty quickly after that. Look for for partly sunny skies tomorrow. A chance for a shower late in the afternoon. Otherwise, our high temperature topping out at 69. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A Madison man is set to begin his sentence tonight for making bombs inside his West Madison apartment. Police evacuated the complex at Timberlake Village Apartments for 5 days back in February of 2018 after numerous chemicals and 2 pipe bombs were found in Brian Campbell's apartment. Today, a judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison, 3 years extended supervision.
A Florida judge says the reported undercover video showing New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft paying for sex at a massage parlor cannot be used in the case against him. The judge wrote today the Jupiter Police Department didn't follow proper procedures while installing the hidden cameras. Kraft is one of 25 men charged in the case. He has pleaded not guilty, but did already issue a public apology. Desperate Housewives star Felicity Huffman pleaded guilty in a Boston court today in the college admissions bribery scheme. The 56-year-old Emmy Award-winning actress could face 4 to 10 months in jail after she admitted to participating in the nationwide scam. Dozens of other parents are also charged. Sentencing for Huffman is set for September 13th.
Town of Madison cracking down on speeders on the Beltline after one officer pulled over 5 high-speed drivers this weekend. Now, this is video of one of those incidents. The driver here was going 105 miles an hour. This same officer also caught drivers going 97, 92, 81, and 79 miles per hour over the weekend. The cheapest ticket of those all was about $150. The most expensive, nearly $440. A newly formed group of parents are demanding answers in Sun Prairie for what they say is an increase in bullying at schools there. At tonight's board meeting, a representative of this group asked the district to keep track of bullying data and to make sure that information is public. She says she also wants the district to clarify what counts as bullying and to share their policies for repeat offenders.
The school works for us, the citizens, the parents, and every day we trustfully send our kids into those schools expecting the safety of our kids to be protected.
Other parents have also been pushing for an anti-bullying ordinance in Sun Prairie where tickets could be issued to parents whose children bully or harass other children.
The trade war between the United States and China continues to escalate. Today, China said it would raise tariffs on goods imported from the U.S. That's its response to President Trump's steep new fees on Chinese-made products. President Trump downplayed the development, but the back-and-forth tariffs sent financial markets into a tailspin. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 617 points, its worst one-day performance since January. Former President Jimmy Carter is recovering in a hospital tonight after falling and breaking his hip this morning. According to a statement from the Carter Center, he was leaving his home in Georgia to go turkey hunting when he fell. President Carter is 94 years old. His surgeons say the procedure was a success. Flowers are resting on the Hollywood Walk of Fame star for legendary actress and singer Doris Day. She died this morning at her Carmel Valley, California home, surrounded by close friends after contracting a serious case of pneumonia. In her heyday in the 1950s and 60s, Day played opposite some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Rock Hudson, Clark Gable, and Frank Sinatra. Doris Day was 97 years old. Still to come tonight, a local business is doing something good to help our veterans.
They're distilling something together as red, white, and blue as Old Glory herself. This News 3 Now exclusive when we come back.
Welcome back. Memorial Day is 2 weeks away, and already a local business is honoring veterans in a unique way. Philippe Cocard of Wollersheim Winery and Distillery has found a way to bring a spirit of sorts to life, all in an effort to do something good for Wisconsin veterans.
Should be able to do 400 an hour.
Winemaking goes back 13 generations.
They're bottling something special today at Wollersheim Winery and Distillery in Prairie du Sac.
So we wanted to be different.
Co-owner Philippe Cocard and distiller Tom Lenners asked a farmer down the road to grow 3 different types of corn, red, white, and blue. Their goal was to make a special limited edition whiskey.
We decided to blend those 3 colors matching the percentage of the American flag. So the 3 colors are 42% red, 41.5% white, and 7% blue. But nobody that we know has matched the percentage of the flag, 42%, 41%, and 7%. So we think that is a first. And on top of that, aged in Wisconsin oak barrels. Nobody else has done that. So that is really cool.
And how did you figure out the percentage?
Well, you just Google it. So we measured by weight, X many pound of blue, X many pound of red and white, and we kept track of it. We documented it. We had the American flag. We had a pail with each of those colors. This is an American whiskey, and
The inspiration behind this spirit,
she was a huge influence in my life. She was a saint.
a spirit from 70 years ago. For 5 years, starting in 1940, the Nazis occupied France until Allied troops arrived after D-Day to liberate the French people.
Wow, I mean, she was in love with America before I knew what America was.
Philippe's grandmother, Thérèse Lecombre, lived in the southeast corner of France, about 6 hours south of Paris. While she was a woman of few words, the words she did share made an impact on Philippe.
I remember that so vividly. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, she was always defending America. She was always so proud of America, of the American troops, what they had done to liberate France in 1945. You know, at first I didn't quite get it. And then, you know, talking with her and talking with my parents about the American army walking through the villages. And I remember my mom talking, she got a little piece of chewing gum from an American soldier. I mean, it must have been the first, you know. They saw the American troops walking through the villages, pushing the Germans away. So that was like, wow, this is what we owe to America. I had that dream since I was 12 years old to come to America. I stuck to it, and here I am. And that dream most likely goes back to my grandma always telling me a great thing about America. That concept or that idea of always liking America, liking the American army, the American troops, stuck with me.
Which brings us back to this special, one-of-a-kind whiskey.
I want to do something for the veterans, and that's how we approach and created this event.
With a single goal to simply do something good, as the whiskey aged, Philippe decided he would sell this whiskey with all monies going to help a Wisconsin veterans organization.
Here we are, 3 years later. The product is ready. It is really awesome. I mean, it tastes like a bourbon. It is a bourbon. We are not calling it bourbon to focus on the American whiskey and the flag.
A little spirit to honor a spirit, as well as the spirit of the American soldier.
It's my way of giving back to the soldier. It's my way of honoring what the U.S. Army did for France all those many years back. So it's a little token of appreciation.
To the Wollersheim and Cocard families, thank you for doing something so good. If you are interested in getting a bottle, there is a red, white, and blue whiskey fundraiser at Wallersheim Distillery from 10 to 5 this Saturday, May 18th. Each bottle is $100, and there are only 500 bottles, and the distillery will not hold any bottles, so you have to be there to get one. In addition to the sale, there will be a living flag, the Sauk Prairie High School drum line, more live music, food, cocktails, and a check presentation to the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs for $50,000. That's the total for the 500 bottles. And finally, to nominate someone for a Do Something Good story, please go to channel3000.com/do-something-good.
Great work there, Charlotte, and Kathy King as well. Her work on that. Normandy plus 75 coming up, the D-Day invasion, right? Gary's going there in the fall.
Yeah, we got our holiday vacations trip there and spent about 3 full days in the Normandy area, so I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully the weather is nicer there than it was immediately before the D-Day invasion, because they had a huge storm, and that was one of the most important weather forecasts in history. Sometime I'll do a story on that.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, so today's forecast probably not quite as important, but still it was nice to have a nice day. The time lapse from the WISC Skycam shows the clear skies that we had this morning that allowed temperatures to fall just above freezing, but with time, notice the fair weather cumulus clouds pop up this afternoon. No showers out of those clouds, and as we get closer to sunset, those clouds started to break apart a little bit. Last night, low temperatures were in the 30s over much of the state of Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan. Milwaukee held in at 44, but Madison dropped to 33, and temperatures in some spots, especially up near Rhinelander and over the lower parts of central Wisconsin, got into the upper 20s. But look at where the high temperatures ended up. La Crosse hit 70, Madison mid-60s, mid to upper 60s, even in the northern part of the state. Superior was even warmer than Madison at 70 degrees, whereas notice the lakeshore area of Milwaukee. They had that breeze that kept them warm at night, but cool during the day. 57 the high temperature in Milwaukee, 61 in Chicago. Now we're taking a look at the forecast for rainfall. We've got a couple of weather systems in the short term. One that'll bring us maybe a little bit of light, a chance of a shower late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Another one that will arrive with some showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. By 6 p.m. already the computer model is showing about a ½ inch of rain over southern Wisconsin. Now the GFS longer range computer model showing heavier thunderstorms out to the west in Iowa, but generally missing Wisconsin with the first batch. But as we head into the weekend, a stronger storm system could bring the potential for some heavier rain somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 3 inches, especially over central Wisconsin, where a stationary front would line up, leaving more showers and thunderstorms kind of repeating over the same general area. Whereas the European computer model, while it starts out with maybe a little bit more rain through Thursday, over the weekend keeps the bulk of the rain farther out to the west of Minnesota. That would actually not only keep us a little drier, but also probably give us warmer temperatures for the weekend. We're still looking for highs in the upper 70s for Saturday. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there tonight, and it's actually pretty comfortable. Our high temperature for today, 66, the low 33. But notice we're pretty close to the average high temperature, low temperature a little bit below normal. It's 52 now with clear skies, winds out of the southeast at 3 miles per hour, and the humidity only at 54%. The jet stream basically is split into 2 parts. The polar jet stream keeping the cold air away from us for the time being, and the subtropical jet stream with the main storm track keeping all the really heavy showers and thunderstorms farther out to the south. Eventually those two will come together with that weekend storm out to the west, but in the short term, that high pressure system will keep our weather quiet, and temperatures are pretty comfortable no matter where you go in the Midwest. Our forecast for tonight calls for a low of 42 degrees by tomorrow morning, so not as cold and partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, partly sunny, just a slight chance for a shower in the afternoon with a high temperature of 69. On future track, quiet for tonight, low temperatures dropping into the low 40s. Those winds out of the south will start warming up by tomorrow afternoon, upper 60s for highs. A slight chance for a shower, maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow night, low temperatures dropping to around 50. And then Wednesday back to partly sunny skies, high temperatures upper 60s to around 70 degrees. Again, the rainfall amounts in the short term, very light, maybe just a couple 1/100ths of an inch of rain for tomorrow and tomorrow night. 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures in the 70s, finally, not only for the weekend, but for most of next week. Best chances for rain, I think, would be on Sunday, and then again Tuesday of next week. There's some other times in there, but most of the time it'll be dry. We're getting more into that spring season where you get heavier bouts of rain, but then a lot more dry hours as well, instead of an all-day cold rain like we've had for so much of the spring.
For too much of the
Too
spring.
much of it, you're right.
Okay.
So.
Oh, did you hear that? He said I'm right.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
No argument for me.
Thank you.
Steve Stricker can finally call himself a major champion. Story coming up in sports.
Safe
Brewers are on a 10-game road trip. Tonight's stop, Philadelphia, to play the Phillies. Doesn't get started right away, though. Almost an hour rain delay before they get going, and once they do, there's been plenty of offense. How about Mike Moustakas? This one goes in the second deck. Lorenzo Cain has 5 hits. It's a long night, though, in Philadelphia. Bottom of the 7th. Brewers 4, Phillies 4. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and Toronto Raptors is Wednesday night, 7:30 at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. The Raptors won their series with Philadelphia last night when Kawhi Leonard's buzzer beater bounced 4 times on the rim and finally fell through. There are differing opinions whether it's better for the Bucks to play the Sixers or the Raptors, but they get the Raptors. The Bucks, though, beat them 3 of 4 times in the regular season.
I just wish we can start playing sooner, but you know, to know who we're playing and get to break those film studies down and you know, personnel and things like that makes it a better feeling when you're just not coming here just with your head in the cloud trying to figure out who you're going to play.
A shocker in basketball. Michigan head coach John Beilein is leaving for the NBA. Beilein will be the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He had spent 12 years in Michigan. Beilein, though, has sniffed around some NBA jobs the last couple of years. Today he takes one, head coach in Cleveland. Steve Stricker is playing in the PGA Championship at Bethpage Black in New York later this week, but it's already been a great week. Today, Stricker won the first major of his pro career in the PGA Tour Champions Regions tradition. Stricker has his brother-in-law, Mario Tiziani, on the bag this week, and boy, do they make a good team. Stricker led by 2 at the start of the rain-delayed final round today and just starts extending that lead, chipping in for birdie on the 4th hole. After that, he plays it smart. He lays up on the par 5s, relying on his spectacular short game. Boy, that pays off. Here's another birdie on the 13th hole. And he can breathe easy on 18. He taps in for a 6-shot win over Billy Andre, David Toms, and Paul Goydos. Stricker has 12 wins on the regular PGA Tour, now 4 on PGA Tour Champions, and his first major.
This is special. You know, I never was able to win one of these on the regular tour, and you know, I get emotional. I hate this part, but it means a lot. You know, I feel more pressure out here at times to perform than I do on the regular tour, and I think that's just because I put a lot of expectations on myself out here, and to finally get this one means a lot.
Again, next up for Stricker, another major will be playing in that PGA Championship later this week. Jerry Kelly finished tied for 12th at the Regions tradition. The Packers claimed Mike Tyson off waivers today. No, not that Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, a safety from the University of Cincinnati, who spent most of his rookie season on the Seattle practice squad. And the national high school record for the 100-meter dash has been broken. Matthew Bowling of Houston ran a 10.13 at the Texas State Championships. That broke a 29-year-old national record. Bowling ran a 9.98 in April, but it didn't count because it was wind-aided. But this one did. 10.13 seconds in front of 22,000 fans at the state championship in Texas. We'll be right back.
Here's the 10-day forecast. See a lot of 70s in there and not as much rain, so that's good news.
Terry, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.